Dawn. Reid's tears fell silently as the stagecoach rumbled westward across the rugged Colorado territory in the autumn of 1875. Each jolt of the wooden wheels drove home the bitter reality. Just 3 days ago, she had stood at the altar of Boston's finest church waiting for a groom who never arrived, only to learn he had fled with her dowry and left her family in financial ruin. The memory of her father's haunted eyes as he explained their desperate solution still burned in her mind. "I've made arrangements with a business associate in Palisade, Colorado," he had whispered, unable to meet her gaze. "Mr. Hollister has agreed to settle our debts in exchange for your hand." Dawn was now traveling to a marriage arranged in desperation, sold to save her family from destitution, a bride for a man she had never met in a frontier town she could barely locate on a map. As the stagecoach crested a hill, Dawn glimpsed the small settlement nestled in the valley below. Palisade, Colorado looked nothing like the refined Boston streets she had known all her 22 years. The driver called out to the horses, bringing the coach to a stop before the town's only hotel. "Miss Reid?" A tall, gray-haired man with a walrus mustache approached as she descended. "Walter Hollister. I trust your journey was pleasant." Dawn took measure of the man who had purchased her. He was older than her father by at least a decade, his eyes cold and calculating as they assessed her appearance. "Adequate, thank you," she replied, keeping her voice steady despite her trembling hands. "Good. We'll be married tomorrow. I've arranged everything." He gestured toward the hotel. "You'll stay there tonight. I expect you presentable for the ceremony at noon." As Hollister walked away without another word, Dawn felt the last remnants of hope crumble. This wasn't a marriage, it was a transaction. She had been sold to the highest bidder, a desperate solution to her family's desperate circumstances. The morning dawned crisp and clear, but Dawn had barely slept. Standing before the small mirror in her rented room, she pinned her auburn hair back with trembling fingers. The simple blue traveling dress would have to suffice as a wedding gown. A soft knock at the door startled her. Opening it, she found a young boy holding a small bouquet of wildflowers. "Mr. Hollister sent these," the boy said, thrusting them toward her. "Said to tell you to hurry up." Even this small gesture wasn't born of affection, but impatience. Dawn accepted the flowers, placing them on the dresser as the boy scampered away. Taking a deep breath, she made her way downstairs and out onto the dusty main street. The small church at the end of the road loomed before her like a prison. With each step, the weight of her situation pressed down harder. This wasn't just one wedding day, this was the rest of her life, bound to a stranger who had bought her like cattle at auction. As she approached the church steps, a commotion erupted from the saloon across the street. Raised voices and the sound of breaking glass drew her attention. Suddenly, the batwing doors burst open, and a man stumbled out, followed by an angry shout and a gunshot that splintered the wooden post beside him. "That'll teach you to cheat in my establishment, Dawson," came a voice from inside. The man called Dawson steadied himself and straightened his vest with deliberate calm. He was tall and broad-shouldered, with sun-bronzed skin and dark hair that curled slightly under his Stetson. Despite having just been thrown from a saloon, there was an air of dignity about him that caught Dawn's attention. Their eyes met across the street, and for a moment, the world seemed to still. Then he tipped his hat with a slight smile before mounting his horse and riding away, leaving Dawn standing alone before the church where her future waited. The ceremony was brief and cold.